This is Keat Sports News, KSN. Hey, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of KSN, episode 128 on a Friday. Yes, you're probably wondering, I thought you would be back yesterday on Thursday. Well, I'm going to explain that. First of all, you're probably wondering if you're watching, you got no shirt on. Well, there's a reason why. And that is the shirt that I ordered came the other day. And you probably know what I'm talking about if you listened to the last episode of KSN. Here it is. That's right. Yeah. The Houston Gamblers of the United Football League. Yes. I ordered this from the UFL shop website. And look, on the sleeve it has the official UFL logo. Yes, it came because they are my favorite team. The closest team to where I live. If any of y'all remembered, I also have 2 Houston Roughneck shirts. I still have them. Alright, but I like the Houston Gamblers name and uniforms more than the Roughnecks. So yeah. And guess what? I ordered 2 more shirts from the shop. And you'll see what they look like. Okay. So I'll talk about the UFL a little bit later. And I already wore this today. Okay. So, I purposely took it off for this intro. And I'm going to put it back on again. So, yeah. All right. First of all, this is going to be perhaps a giant episode, although I'm gonna try not to take too much time because I don't really have all the time, because it's a Friday, a work day, not a Saturday. Although I could have waited until Saturday, but I decided not to because I'm already wearing this shirt, so might as well do this on Friday because the last episode was on Tuesday instead of Thursday, and now I'm going to explain. I have another announcement. Again, I have to start off with that. So, if y'all remember, if y'all been following the episodes lately, I said that it's going to be 3 episodes a week from now on. Either some weeks it'll be Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and some weeks will be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So like every 2 days during the week. Okay? No episodes. There will not be an episode on Sunday. I don't know if I ever done an episode on Sunday. If I did, it was only like one time. But I don't want to do episodes on Sunday because Sunday is, like the second half of the weekend. Okay? So, the last episode was on a Tuesday. So you'd think that this episode should have been yesterday on Thursday. Well, let me explain. I decided not to do one for yesterday's episode. Mainly because I didn't really have the time, and I was also kind of tired. I know I've said this before. I know it sounded like I'm making an excuse, but here's the real reason. Here's the announcement, okay? So because the last episode was 3 days ago, will I do an episode again tomorrow? Because I mentioned tomorrow is Saturday. I'm not going to do an episode on Sunday. So does that mean I'm going to do an episode tomorrow? No. which means this week, 2 episodes instead of 3. Why? Why is that? Well, let me explain. So, I decided after this episode, the next episode will not be until next Saturday. Not tomorrow, Saturday. The following Saturday. So, 1 week from tomorrow will be the next episode of KSN. You're probably wondering, what? What? I thought you said 3 episodes a week. What? We're not going to have another one until, May 16th? Why? Let me explain. I thought about this for the past couple of days, okay? The reason why, basically, I will not upload anything for about a week. Okay? This channel and the main channel, both channels, no uploading for a week. Why? Because my upload speed has been very low. I've mentioned this on both channels. When your upload speed is low, the videos take a lot longer to upload. And so let me do a speed test. I did talk about this on the latest episode of Eric's Top News and on the main channel, Eric Super Magnificent. And if you listen to that episode, I mentioned my upload speed, and I said, what if I don't upload anything for a week? Will my upload speed go higher if I don't upload anything for a week? I don't know. Maybe I should try that. Well, the more I thought of it, the more I want to do that. So, yes, I will not upload anything for a week after this episode. My upload speed is at 11.3, and lately it's been around that number, like 10, 11, 12, the low teens. But there was a time, a while ago, I don't know how long ago, but it was in the high 30s, low 40s, much higher, the upload speed. Meaning, when I had those numbers for the upload speed, uploading videos will be faster. It's been like this upload speed has been in the low teens for like the past 2 months, I think. At least I can remember, and it's still low. So I don't know why. Am I uploading too much? Do I need to take a break from uploading? And that's why I decided that I'm going to take a break from uploading videos. I wonder if that's the reason. Did I use my limit? Or I wonder if this is also the reason why my upload speed has been low for a while. For the past week or two, maybe even more. I have 4 TVs over here. Well, guess what? Every night I would put on something on all 4 TVs. Yes, I'm addicted to that. Kind of like what you're doing, 5 Terry. You put 4 sporting events at once. Okay, well, you don't do that every night, but you do it quite a bit of nights. Well, lately I've been doing that every night. And it's mainly sporting events, okay? Yeah, because that's a really cool thing to do. Why not? I've been doing that for a while. I wonder if that's the reason why my upload speed has been low. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this, but you know what? Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to find out if the upload speed will go higher if I don't upload anything for a week. Or maybe I should not put on, maybe I should not have my TVs on, all four of them every night for a while. I don't know. I don't know what to do, actually. But I think I know this. If I want better upload speed, I think I have to pay more. I think you got to pay more, you know. Oh well. At least the upload speed isn't super duper low. There were times where the upload speed was at like 0.05. And on my main channel, you know, there were times where I did live streams almost every night. When that upload speed is that low, I can't live stream. Because if I do, it'll keep buffering over and over and over. And that's not good. Okay? Thankfully, it's not that low, meaning I can live stream when my upload speed is at 11 or 12, but uploading videos, it'll take forever. Like you know, lately these KSN episodes are big episodes, long episodes. It would take like 5 hours to upload. Yeah, and also another thing is the video file is large. The bigger the video file, the longer it takes to upload. The lower your upload speed is, the longer it takes to upload. So that, adding all that up, it takes a while. I know I try to, you know, there was a time where I would release the episodes at 11 a.m., but lately it's after 11 a.m. It's like early afternoon, you know. So yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. If I want to take a week off from uploading, it might as well be now. It might as well be now. Okay. So yeah, I guess you can say I am sort of taking a break. Yeah. So it was kind of like a last second decision after this, not uploading anything for a week. I don't know. When I come back, maybe my upload speed will still be the same, just about. If it is, oh well, at least I tried. So next episode will be a giant one, because it'll be 8 days later. Special Saturday edition for May 16th. Okay. So, yeah. Plus, I kind of want to take a week off anyways. Just because, you know. I know I just mentioned, you know, this... Hey, it's going to be 3 weeks from now on. Or 3 episodes from now on. Every week, you know. But... yeah, I mean, I know you guys don't complain. You guys don't really mind. Part of you guys don't really care. Which I guess that's a good thing, because I'm the one that makes the decisions. So... plus, not many people actually follow the episodes. Because, like, what if this channel has a lot of subscribers, and then I would have more comments, and then people would be freaking out. What? You said 3 episodes a week? You know? Yeah. So, that is really another announcement that I want to make. Yeah. So, might as well take a week off. It might as well be after this episode. Both channels, alright? Which means I'll have to do an announcement for Eric Super Magnificent, because I know there are most of my subscribers on that channel, they don't follow KSN, meaning they're not sports fans. It is what it is, you know. I'm trying to get more subscribers on Keat Sports News. I mean, I have actually, but it might be from I think when I gain more subscribers on this channel, I think it's mainly from those live streams of me watching sports. I don't think it's really from the episodes, the podcast episodes. On the bright side, I've noticed some of the episodes, the views have kind of gone up a bit, so unlike last year. Last year, the views, some of them were or quite a bit of them were in the single digits. Yeah. I mean, I know that was only my first full year doing this podcast, but yeah. Remember, I said I'm going to keep doing this until after the World Cup. The World Cup is on July the 19th, So after that, I'll make a decision if I still want to keep going. Although 5 you and we chat a couple days ago that we should do a podcast together. And also, I know we were going to do a call, but we're going to have to do that in a week now that I'm making this announcement. So we can do a call in a week from tonight for next Saturday's episode. Okay? So yeah, next episode, I know it won't be another week, but it'll be a big one. So, yeah. Okay, so that is my announcement. So no episode until May 16th after this. All right? Which means we might have some big breaking news. Big breaking, shocking news during my time off, probably. Okay, so that I wanted to get that out of the way first. All right, so now let's talk about the topics. There are 2 topics that I want to talk about before I'm officially on the clock. Yes, I'm going to permanently use the clock. That's a good idea, 5 You're the one that it's a suggestion of yours that I should use the clock. The big topics take as long as I want to talk about them. Then the rest of the topics be on the clock, and I'm gonna do that. Except not the Saturday episodes, because the Saturday episodes I can be here all night. Although I have been here all night on some weeknight episodes, sadly. This might happen again for this episode. Oh well, hopefully this is the last time. Hopefully this will be the last time. Even with the clock, the last episode I had the clock, that episode was almost 2 hours. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, lately these episodes have been pretty big. I mean, hey, I'll be honest. I still like doing this podcast, which is a good thing. Because if I don't like doing it much anymore, then that means that means I'm really going to end this podcast. So, yeah. All right. So the last episode, if you listen to it, it was a sad episode because the New York Yankees lost a legend, John Sterling, who was the Yankees radio play-by-play announcer from 1989 to 2024. So that episode was me giving you my thoughts on John Sterling and my favorite calls and moments and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I know, it's just, I can't believe it. He's gone, man. I mean, he just retired over a year and a half ago. I know he's getting older, but, yeah, that was just, it was just sad, man, because he was a big part of the Yankees historical franchise, man, So, this episode, well, there are 2 things I want to talk about before I'm on the clock. 2 topics that I want to talk about before I use the clock. And those topics are more sad news I want to bring. Yes, there are more sad news. Well, the first sad news is, I think it was what was it, like 2 days after John Sterling's passing? Ted Turner passed away. Yeah. So, if you don't know who Ted Turner was, he was a very, very successful businessman. I think he was a billionaire. I mean, this man, I don't know everything about the guy, but I know quite a bit about him. Basically, at the time, he owned TBS, TNT, Turner Sports. That's what the T stands for, okay? Then he owned CNN, the news network, okay? And he owned the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Hawks. And wow, now that I mention that, because John Sterling was the voice of the Braves and the Hawks before he went to the New York Yankees. Yeah. Ted Turner, he put on movie programming on his channels. He started to put sports, Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Hawks on TV, Then he, remember he was also the owner of the Braves and the Hawks. The Braves were not a good team, but then he started spending a lot of money on getting great players, and that's how the Atlanta Braves golden era started in the 90s. The Atlanta Braves were a really good team back in the 90s. Okay? He actually managed the Atlanta Braves for one game only. Isn't that crazy? Before they hired another manager. I believe it was Bobby Cox. I think it was Bobby Cox that became their manager. Bobby Cox was well known for having the most ejections ever. I don't know how many that was, but I remember reading about him. He had like the most ejections ever. So, and then there was a time where Ted Turner, because he owned TNT and TBS, he started putting on pro wrestling, WCW, World Championship Wrestling programming. Yeah. And that kind of started the Monday Night Wars era, because Monday Nitro was competing against Monday Night Raw of the World Wrestling Federation back in the mid to late 90s, the Monday Night Wars era, which I am still following that era for the past couple of years, But Ted Turner was like Vince McMahon, except Vince, he put his whole life on pro wrestling, Ted Turner did so many things. He could have, Ted Turner could have ran for president if he wanted to. So I saw that some of my favorite pro wrestling podcasts they did episodes of them remembering Ted Turner, so I'll have to officially listen to those. I still haven't listened to any of the John Sterling episodes. I know I'm kind of behind on listening to podcasts. I'll eventually listen to those next week. So yeah, man. 2 days after John Sterling passed away, Ted Turner also passes away, also at age of 87. Man. My father told me the news about Ted Turner's passing. I didn't know about it. Yeah, man. It's always, like when one legend passes away, another one passes away like the next day or two, and that's what happened. And that might, another legend might be gone, today or tomorrow or Sunday, because you know how they say death comes in threes. I hate to say that. I remember that happened last year. Who was first? It was in like the last week of July. The first one Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner. He passed away on July the 20th of last year. It's crazy. He was only 54. And then 2 days later, Ozzy Osbourne passed away on July 22nd. And then 2 days after that, Hulk Hogan passed away on July 24th. It's crazy, man. And then I remember this also happened in 2023 in August. Terry Funk, okay? He passed away on August 23rd, 2023. And then the next day, Bray Wyatt passed away. And then, they were both pro wrestlers, so they did a double tribute on WWE SmackDown. And then 2 days after that, Bob Barker passed away. Now, Bob and Terry, they lived their lives. Bob was 99. He was so close to being 100. But man, what's crazy, man? Bray Wyatt was only 36. Yeah. Bray Wyatt was only 36 when he died, man. Yeah. It's crazy, man. That something like it's just, So may they all rest in peace. Ted Turner, rest in peace. I'm sure there's documentaries on the guy that I would like to watch. They'll probably make a movie about him. He was a very, very successful billionaire. He did a lot. Very successful, man. But he was a part of the sports business, too. He owned the Atlanta Hawks and the Braves, man. And, John Sterling was the voice of those franchises. It's kind of crazy, Now they're both gone, So, yeah. Just want to say that rest in peace to Ted Turner. Well, that's not all the sad news. There's even more sad news that I want to bring. I also found out about this the other day. My brother told me the news. And that is the minor league hockey team, the games that I went to, they're called the Baton Rouge Zydeco. They have been disbanded. There are no more. There are no longer a team. Rest in peace to the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Yeah, my big brother told me, because him and I, we were at some games together. And that's sad. The minor league hockey team that I went to, the games that I went to, they're no longer a team. So there are some things I want to say about this. I mean, yes, it's sad, obviously. And that was only their third season. Their last season was only their third season. Their first season was in 2023. Because, hockey seasons, it's the 2023-24 season. That was their first season. Their second season was the 2024-25 season. And their third and, unfortunately, last season, the 2025-26 season. Only 3 seasons. I was hoping that they can be around for one more season. I was also wondering if they'll be around, if they'll come back for another season. Because, I've done some videos of me at their games on the main channel, Eric Super Magnificent. I've been to, let me see, I'm going to try and think how many I went to, okay? So I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe I went to a total of 6 games. Okay. I went to 4 during their last season. Yeah, I went to 4 of their games during their last season because I got into it. Every time I went, I was entertained. It was entertaining. You know? And after their last game ended, which they won, thankfully they won during their last game. Their last game was a win, but after their last game, they had like a ceremony. And that ceremony, it lasted for a while. And because I recorded some of that, or if not all of it. And man, it was kind of sad because it felt during that ceremony. I mentioned this before in a previous episode of KSN. So their last game, I remember it was on April the 12th. No, April the 11th. That's almost a month ago already. But man, that ceremony, it felt like it was them saying goodbye. Like, not goodbye for the season, but goodbye. Like they're not coming back. That was what my mind was telling me. I'm just like, damn, this seems like goodbye. Like they might not come back for another season. And unfortunately, that became true. Now, I was at their last game of the 2024-25 season. They didn't have a ceremony after the game. You know why? Because they actually made the playoffs. Okay? They clinched. Well, this past season, they did not make the playoffs. They were much worse. So, that's sad, man. Only 3 seasons. They had a team called the Kingfish. Okay? Minor league hockey team, all right? And the Kingfish, they were around longer than the Zydeco. The Kingfish were around from 1996 to 2003. Okay? That's about 7 seasons. The Zydeco, they were only around for 3 seasons. And I remember my parents, they told me, hey, you were actually at a Kingfish game when you were like a baby. Ha! And obviously, I can't remember. No one can remember anything when they were babies or even a toddler. Yes, because I was born in 2001. So, you know, not too long after, like a year or 2 after I was born, they got disbanded. And then about 20 years later, they brought back a hockey team called the Zydeco. So that was exciting. But man, only 3 seasons and they're gone. But at the same time, another thing I thought of was, it's kind of weird that South Louisiana had 2 minor league hockey teams to begin with. Because, let's be honest, hockey is not that popular in the South, the Southeast. You know, I mentioned Atlanta. Atlanta used to have an NHL team, but they moved. You know? Yeah, they were called the Thrashers before they moved to Winnipeg and they became the Jets. And then they also had another, in the old days, they had a team called the Flames. The Atlanta Flames before they moved to Calgary, and they stayed as the Flames. So yeah, Atlanta had 2 professional ice hockey teams. But now you're gonna say, well, why does Tampa and Miami have NHL teams? That's in the South. Well, that's because this is true. A lot of New Yorkers moved down to Florida. They did. And that's the reason. And plus, those are pretty big cities down there, you know. I know Atlanta's a bigger city than Miami and Tampa. It is. It really is. But a lot of New Yorkers, they like to go to Florida. They like the warm weather. They're sick of the cold weather. They're sick of the snow. They want nice weather. They want to be at the beach a lot. That's just them. You know, Houston is also a giant city. They don't have an NHL team. I think they did in the old days, but see, that just shows you not many people follow hockey in the South, other than Florida. But isn't that kind of interesting that the capital city of Louisiana had 2 minor league hockey teams? I mean, they can easily have a basketball team. Any arena can have a basketball team. You can. You know, have any of y'all heard the Harlem Globetrotters? Well, they were around forever. They're basically sports entertainment, okay? They are a funny team to watch. They put on a show. They're like the Savannah Bananas of baseball, except except, you know, it's a different sport. Also, the Savannah Bananas are so popular now, it's kind of crazy. But I went to a Harlem Globetrotters game. I think it was like 10 years ago. Actually, I went to 2 of them. One when I was a kid and the other in my late teens. So if they ever come back, I would love to go to a game again just for the fun of it. Yeah. And also, back then, as a kid, I went to some Monster Jam events, and if you go to my main channel, Eric Super Magnificent, and you go to the oldest videos, you'll find those videos of the Monster Trucks videos from 2013. Yeah, and I haven't gone to one in over a decade. It's because they don't come to that arena anymore. And the reason why they don't go to that arena anymore is because the arena is too damn small. You know? So, yeah, it's kind of sad, man. Baton Rouge Zydeco are no more. And I'm wondering, like, what if they made the playoffs? They would probably come back. Had that team made the playoffs, I think they would come back for another season. So let me look this up here. Let me try and read why this team decided to not have another season. Top stories. WAFB, that's my local news. Baton Rouge Zydeco fold after season attendance drops from 110,000 to 61,000. Really? That is a 50,000 difference.
The Baton Rouge Zydeco are...
Oh, and that's a video. Well, I guess I can play this video. I didn't thought there would be a video, but... So, let's see. I guess we'll check out this video right now. I have not seen this yet, so here we go.
The Baton Rouge Zydeco are heading off the ice for good, with the team shutting down after just 3 seasons.
Ethan Tuttle is here with more on what we're learning about the team's exit and what could be next for the River Center.
That's right, guys. Organizers of the team did not immediately respond to our request for a comment about why the Zydeco are hanging up the skates for good, but I did find out today that signs of life remain for hockey in the capital area.
We know that hockey is cherished. We know that people want it. There's a group of very passionate Zydeco fans that really wanted the Zydeco to stay.
The Baton Rouge Zydeco are heading to the locker room for good after just 3 seasons. Alicia Guin, Director of Marketing and Partnerships for the River Center, said it came down to a decision made by Zydeco leaders.
The Raising Cane's River Center made every effort to keep the team here, to renew the lease. At the end of the day, it just came down to a decision made by ownership and staff.
Fans have been left in the dark by the team with no official announcement. Team president Don Lewis did share in a recent post that he had to, quote, say goodbye to members of the organization and that some of them are now without jobs, mentioning the end of a 3-year run.
That's sad.
The amount of season ticket holders we got, the sponsorship we got, and then just the general public that walks in and comes in and gets a ticket, it's incredible.
Since that interview following a record-setting inaugural season in the Federal Prospects Hockey League, Lewis and the Zydeco saw attendance plummet from 110,000 total in 2023 to just 61,000 this season, according to the league's website.
I've been here for 7 years, and our fall calendar is jam-packed more than I can ever remember.
With hockey out the door and ice off the floor, Guin says the River Center will rely on events and concerts to make up for the Zydeco's absence.
I keep hearing more and more from our booking team about announcements that are coming up, and they're all really, really great, and we're staying busy as we possibly can be.
As far as what comes next for hockey in Baton Rouge,
and shoots and scores!
We really do want to keep hockey in Baton Rouge. We want to see a future for hockey in Baton Rouge, and while there's nothing that we can announce quite at this moment, where I want the public to know that we're making every effort to have hockey here.
all right, well, if or when an announcement does come for a new team in this city, we'll make sure to get that update to you on the 9 News app. Guys?
All right, Ethan, thank you.
Come here, Moses.
All right.
Moses, a 6-year-old German.
Oh, it just immediately plays the next video. So, I hate to say this, but I'm not really surprised that this team is no more. You know, they mentioned that the attendance drops. I guess that's normal when the team is not doing well. When a team has a lot of losses in minor league, yeah, you're not going to have many butts in the seats. And I guess you can call those people spoiled. They don't want to go to a losing season franchise team, you know. I get it. But now I'm glad I was there for 6 of their games as well as their final game of the season. And I recorded quite a lot of clips there, so I can just rewatch those clips if I want to. They have their YouTube channel. Yes, they actually broadcast their games on YouTube. What if I watch some of their games on YouTube? Unless if they're going to close down that channel. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's a damn shame. You know, the Kingfish, they were around for 7 seasons. Zydeco, only 3. You know. I don't know. Maybe we'll... I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, the Baton Rouge Zydeco became a team after nearly 20 years after the Kingfish folded. I'm reading the Wikipedia article of the history. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome announced a push to bring professional hockey back to Baton Rouge. And the reason why they were called the Zydeco, it's because the team's saying, quote, honoring the rich history and traditions that have shaped Louisiana's community, we believe in creating a sports team that not only excels on the ice, but also reflects the unique culture and spirit of Baton Rouge. The name is based on the Zydeco music genre developed in Louisiana, mainly in the Lafayette area. Like, I have a former French teacher. He lives in the Lafayette area. He does know about Zydeco music. And then the last thing it says here, the team disbanded in April 2026 due to issues with ownership and communication, leading to the cancellation of their operations. Man. I mean, when I was at their last game, there were quite a bit of fans. Quite a lot, actually. Well, I guess it's because it's the final game, you know. I guess that makes sense. It was kind of like a couple years ago, the Phoenix Coyotes of the National Hockey League, they said goodbye, and then they moved to Utah. You know, yeah, it's like that, man. 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, I actually went to a minor league hockey team game in Lafayette. They were called the Louisiana Ice Gators, and I actually still have the shirt, and I'm going to show it to you right now. So here it is. See that? Louisiana Ice Gators. That was cool. It was at the Cajun Dome. Much bigger arena. And I was also there for a WWE Monday Night Raw show in 2019, so... And somehow this shirt still fits on me. It's kind of, I put it on, a little tight, but not super tight, which means this shirt was kind of big on me 10 years ago. Because I was, this was in January of 2016. I was 14 and a half. So I was still growing. I was hitting puberty. So there it is. Unfortunately, this team is no more, you know. And then I also, in 2021, I also went to a minor league hockey game in Shreveport. I forgot what their team name is. But I did not enjoy that. I did not enjoy that game because the seating sucked. It was it was uncomfortable. Yeah. But all the other games that I went to for the Zydeco, every seat I sat in, pretty good seat. 2 games behind the glass. I mean, yeah, that means it's the most expensive seat, but geez, you get an up close view of the players. And I bought 2 Zydeco merch, whatever you call it. The first thing I got was the hoodie. Yeah, I like the color. It's very nice. Yeah, good thing I got this. And the second thing I got is this beanie hat that says the logo on it. So, yeah, I guess I'll wear these during the winter season, even though they're no longer a team. Yeah. Oh, and one last thing. This literally just popped into my head. We actually got a puck. Here it is. As a souvenir, we actually got a puck. Can you believe that? That's awesome. The Federal Prospects Hockey League, the FPHL. There it is. It's kind of heavy. So, yeah, rest in peace to the Baton Rouge Zydeco, man. Sad. I was hoping to go to their first game. next season in October. Their first game, I couldn't go. I didn't want to go to their first game during their last season because two reasons. Number one, it was on Halloween night. Yeah, somehow their first game was on Halloween night. And number two, there was a World Series game on Halloween night. So I didn't want to go. I had to watch the World Series live, you know. But it was cool that they had the games broadcasted on their YouTube channel. Yeah. See, that's the thing about minor league teams. A lot of them, they don't stay around very long. You know, they move. You know, the UFL, it is a minor league team. There were teams that didn't last very long. But I'm glad that league is getting better. So I'll talk more about the UFL. And I think that's all I got to say before I'm officially on the clock. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. Already 51 minutes. Gonna be a big episode before I leave for a week or 8 days. All right, let's now get to the other sports topics. With the clock.
You are officially on the clock.
That's Phil Simms. Yep, the great Phil Simms. I am officially on the clock. Let me see if I can put the... Oops. Get the clock back on here if I can. Oh, whoops, not this one. Is this it? There we go. So, I am officially on the clock. 5 minutes, we'll do 5 minutes again, because, I don't have all the time again. Alright. Let me get the text ready. So yeah, Phil Simms is one of the greatest, if not the greatest New York Giants quarterback ever in the National Football League. And speaking of the National Football League, we begin. So you're probably wondering, NFL news? Yes. So I was watching SportsCenter on TSN with Jay Onright, and they announced that Aaron Rodgers will play another season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do I want him to play another season? Yeah. Why not? I mean, I've always liked him. Although he's not at his prime anymore. That's the thing. I think ever since he left the Packers, ever since Aaron Rodgers left the Green Bay Packers, he hasn't been like his old self. And, I guess when he went to the New York Jets, remember the fans were so happy. Oh, yeah, we get Aaron Rodgers, Jets, Jets. And then, what was like the second play of the game? He gets an Achilles injury. And he's out for the rest of the season. And I saw a comment that says that's like the most Jets thing ever to happen. And, damn. The curse continues. I mean, he brought in the curse. The Jets brought in the curse when they got Aaron Rodgers, man. And then the following season, Aaron Rodgers didn't play very well. And, I remember people saying that the Jets are going to win the division or even go to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, no, that's not. I'm like, no way that's going to happen. I can see them maybe being a wild card team. But winning the division, going to the Super Bowl, I mean, okay, you're getting a little carried away. Yes, I want to see that team go to the Super Bowl. Why not? They haven't been to a Super Bowl in like 57 years. Super Bowl III. Joe Namath. the greatest Jets player quarterback ever. Broadway Joe, as they say. The biggest upset in Super Bowl history, you know? And they had so many bad seasons, and the Jets they now have the longest drought, not in the NFL, but in the 4 major sports. The Jets now have the longest playoff drought appearance. It was the Buffalo Sabres. They finally broke that drought. They haven't made from 2011 until 2026. 15 years for the Sabres. The Jets, I think it's also been since 2011. So they now have the longest active playoff drought appearance. I don't know what it is with that team. And that team could have had the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and they didn't get Fernando Mendoza, you know? Well, now Aaron Rodgers will stay with the Steelers. Hey, he gets to reunite with his former coach, the former coach of the Green Bay Packers and Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Yeah. So I guess it'll be interesting. But will the Steelers be better? How much will the Steelers change after Mike Tomlin resigned? And Mike Tomlin, I heard that he's going to be part of NBC's Sunday Night Football studio show. That's cool. I'm sure he'll be great. His press conferences are pretty entertaining, too. Another news I got on ESPN notification is that Jawan Jennings, the former wide receiver of the 49ers, he's now going to the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. And I remember when Jawan played for Tennessee. I remember he caught a Hail Mary touchdown pass to beat Georgia on the road. Vern Lundquist was on the call on CBS. The good old days of the SEC on CBS. I saw that live. That was insane. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't want to hear much NFL news during the offseason. You know, I wasn't really hyped up for the draft, even though I was following the draft quite a bit. I had it on in the background, but I mentioned this before. I'll say it again. This was like the least excitement I had for the draft. Okay, let's go on to the next topic. We might as well stay in football. And, yeah. So, the UFL, the United Football League, I'd say that is my number 1 favorite sports league. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. I'm so glad that someone like Mike Rapoli wants this league to grow, trying to make this a fun, entertaining league, and it has been a fun and entertaining league. So, since I have this on, I watched the Houston Gamblers game from last Friday or Saturday. Okay, yeah, I finally watched their game, their latest game against Columbus. The game was in Columbus. I think it was on May the 1st, and it was chilly. The weather was chilly. And the first half was pretty high scoring. A lot of offense. Then the last few minutes of the first half, it started to rain. It was raining pretty hard. And it got colder. So then the second half, not much happened. It was kind of the opposite. Columbus only had 1 win at the time, and they were able to win their game against Houston. It was a rematch. Yeah, because they faced each other the week before, week 5. This was week 6, so now we're in week 7. There are 2 more games that I haven't watched yet from week 6 So yeah, I'm a little bit behind again, but I can catch up. So I think I'll watch those two games tonight, or at least one of them. Yeah. But yeah, the UFL has been awesome, entertaining. I got this shirt. I'm glad I got this shirt. Even though, entering the season, the Gamblers had the least odds. They were last on the list. They had the what were they, like 5,000 to 1 to win the championship. Yeah. Their head coach, I forgot his name, but he used to be the Texas A&M head coach back when they had Johnny Manziel, a.k.a. Johnny Football, one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. So that was cool. His name is Kevin, I believe. So that's awesome that they brought him back into coaching. The Birmingham Stallions, they won 3 spring football league championships in 4 years. Well, now I think they have the worst record. They only have 1 win. Those years when they won the championships, they had Skip Holtz. Skip Holtz is no longer the coach. It's now A.J. McCarron. And I remember A.J. McCarron playing in college for Alabama with Nick Saban back when Alabama was fantastic. Then, I think it was last season or the season before, A.J. played for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Yeah. So, and the Stallions, they have different uniforms. I don't know why. It's like a maroon color. It used to be red, but now it's like a maroon color. You know what? They look like the Michigan Panthers. Their uniforms. Their home uniforms look like the Michigan Panthers, now that I'm thinking about it. Because, the Panthers, they're no longer a team, which is surprising because that team went to the UFL championship game last season. So, but the UFL is much better this season than it was last season. The championship game's in D.C., home of the D.C. Defenders. It's on a Saturday afternoon, I think. Either Saturday or Sunday, but it's an afternoon game. I don't really like that. I wish that game was prime time because, last year it was prime time. Although last year that game could have been during the day because the game was indoors. So it's going to be the same environment, whether it's a day game or an outdoor game. But this one is going to be outdoors in the afternoon. It's because the game will be on ABC again. And later that night, ABC will be hosting an NBA Finals. So that's why. And they're also going to be hosting the Stanley Cup Finals. So yeah, it's going to be a big month of June for ABC, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to give you my predictions for Week 7 because I am quite behind. All right, next topic. Speaking of the NBA and NHL playoffs. So I'm going to tell you which games that I watched. Playoffs have been quite interesting. Let's start with the NBA. Which games that I had on? Let's see here. So yesterday was the Philadelphia 76ers against the New York Knicks. Knicks won again. They're up 2-0. I would like to see that team go all the way because they haven't won a championship since, 1973? That's a long time. They might win another championship before the New York Jets. So, yeah. I expect the Knicks to win this series unless if the 76ers will make another big comeback like they did against the Boston Celtics. How about the San Antonio Spurs beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 133-95? The series is tied up at 1 game apiece. And man, Victor Wembanyama, that guy is so tall. it's just kind of crazy. Can you imagine going to a game in person and you sit courtside and he's that close? And his press conferences, it's so weird because his hands are gigantic and he's holding the microphone like it's a claw. He's holding the microphone like pretend this remote, if you're watching, he's holding the microphone like this. And I remember the other night I was watching Scott Van Pelt's Sports Center. He said, I can't stop looking at the guy holding the microphone in his big hand. That made me laugh. Yeah, because I couldn't. I was looking at it either. I couldn't stop. Ugh. By the way, I noticed that. Why are the players and coaches holding the microphone in the press conference? Because most press conferences, the microphone's on a stand. I guess the players have to hold it because they're so damn big and tall. They don't want to sit like this. I guess because the NHL press conferences, they're not holding the mic at all. So yesterday, I watched the end of the Cleveland Cavaliers Detroit Pistons game. The Pistons won by 10. They're up 2-0. And then how about that crowd? Pistons crowd is great. I like their uniforms because it looks like the red, white, and blue. They kind of look like the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, the Globetrotters uniforms are also red, white, and blue. And then the game that just happened the other night, Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending champions, they beat the LA Lakers up 2-0. They're probably the best team from the West. I think they are the favorite to win the championship again. All right. And how about LeBron James? LeBron James played pretty well for his age. Isn't he the oldest player? Is he the oldest active player? And is he also the oldest player to be in the playoffs? I think so. Because he is that good, man. He's still great for his age. I would like to see that team go all the way, too. Let's have LeBron James win one more championship. One of the greatest of all time. But it seems to me that the two best teams are the Knicks and the Thunder. That might be the finals. People said that was going to be the finals last year. Yeah. So tonight, Game 3 of the Knicks, 76ers, and Spurs and Timberwolves. Those games are on Amazon Prime. Yeah, yesterday's games are also on Amazon Prime. Isn't that weird? But I guess it's kind of normal now that Amazon Prime is getting sporting events. Tomorrow, Game 3 between the Pistons and Cavaliers, 2 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. Tomorrow night on ABC, Game 3 of the Thunder and Lakers. Since I won't do an episode until next Saturday, we'll see if there will be any Game 7s next Saturday. Next Saturday would be Game 6, if necessary, between the Thunder and the Lakers. May 17th will be 3 Game 7s, if necessary. Okay, I'm going to have to add 5 more minutes to talk about the NHL playoffs. So for the NHL playoffs, I've been following their playoffs more because I find it more entertaining anyways. Yeah, every night I would put on an NHL playoff game. So Tuesday night, Game 2 between the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche, they won easily again, 5-2. Wasn't as high scoring as Game 1, where the score of that game was 9-6. But they were able to score 5 goals. They take a 2-0 series lead. Wednesday, Game 1 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres won 4-2. I would like to see the winner of that series go all the way. I would like to see the winning team out of that series go all the way. Anaheim Ducks got revenge on the Vegas Golden Knights, 3-1. Series is tied up at 1 apiece. And yesterday, Game 3 between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. Hurricanes won 4-1. They take a 3-0 series lead. Remember, that team swept the Ottawa Senators. That team is undefeated in the playoffs. So far, that team has won 7 games. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? So, I saw a graphic. I had to take a picture of it. And it says, teams to win first 7 playoff games and allowed less than 10 goals all time. It only happened 4 times. 1952, Detroit Red Wings. They won the Stanley Cup. 1969 St. Louis Blues. They lost the Stanley Cup final. 1994 New York Rangers. They won the Stanley Cup. Also, I think the Knicks were also in the 1994 NBA Finals, but they didn't win that one. And the 2026 Carolina Hurricanes. It's only happened 4 times where a team that has won their first 7 playoff games and allowed less than 10 goals. Wow. That just shows you that this team, the Carolina Hurricanes, are fantastic. They might win again. They might sweep the Flyers, win 8 games in a row. I think they're the best team of the East. The best team of the West, I think it's, I assume it's Colorado. Yeah, who did they beat in round 1? Colorado, Avalanche. They beat... Oh, man, they must have swept a team. They swept the LA Kings. So that team is also undefeated in the playoffs. Wow. So, tonight, 2 games. Game 2 between the Canadiens and the Sabres. Game 3 between the Golden Knights and the Ducks. Tomorrow, Game 4 between the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Hurricanes looking to having another sweep victory. Sweep victory. Get it? Not sweet. And later that night, Game 3 between the Avalanche and the Wild. Yeah. I guess I do have Knicks, Thunder in the NBA Finals, and Hurricanes, Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Final. But yeah, it's been pretty entertaining. So, in the NBA, I would like to see the New York Knicks go all the way, or the LA Lakers. NHL, I like to see the winning team between the Canadiens and the Sabres to go all the way. The Montreal Canadiens, they have won the most Stanley Cups, but their last one was like 30 years ago, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next thing I'll talk about as the clock ticks down. Major League Baseball. So, I mentioned in the last episode, I did watch that Yankees game against the Baltimore Orioles on Monday night because it was basically a tribute to John Sterling, all right? And what was like a few days ago, the Colorado Rockies game had a snow delay. That's crazy. In the month of May, a snow delay? Crazy. And man, they faced the New York Mets yesterday. Craig Kimbrell, I think that's his name, gave up a grand slam. Game was tied at 2 apiece. Gave up a grand slam in the bottom of the 8th inning, I think. And they lost. The Mets lost 6-2. And I remember when Craig was playing for the Boston Red Sox, back when the Red Sox were a fantastic team. You know, what the heck happened to the Mets? They're probably going to fire their manager. He might be next to leave. Hey, the Phillies, if they fired their manager, most likely the Mets are going to fire their manager too. The Mets, you know, they rhyme with the Jets and the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Although I think, didn't Brooklyn, they won a championship this century? I don't remember. Or were they in the finals? I don't know. Mets, Jets, Nets. Let's go. You know? So I've only watched 3 MLB games in terms of like actually watching a particular game. Because I'm not a big fan of the league, but if I'm not watching games, if I'm not watching a certain game, I would put on MLB Strike Zone. They would have that every Wednesday nights and Friday nights, so I might put that on tonight. MLB Strike Zone, whatever they have. It's mainly the East Coast games because you know there's a lot of East Coast games, a lot of East teams. Excuse me. Had to sneeze, but thankfully, I muted my mic. And I like it. I like MLB Strike Zone. It's like NFL Red Zone, commercial free. They'll bounce from game to game to game, you know. Yeah. Let's see if there's any interesting games. I'm not a fan of interleague games. I like division games more because division games, they mean something, you know. We got the Atlanta Braves taking on the LA Dodgers. That's the big one. That's got to be the big one of this weekend. That might be on Fox tomorrow night and Sunday night on NBC or Peacock. That's a big one. Most likely, I think that's going to be a playoff series, too. I'm hoping that's not the National League Championship Series because I don't want to see the LA Dodgers in the World Series again. And I don't want to see the Atlanta Braves in it either because they're my least favorite team because I used to be a Washington Nationals fan. You know, the Nationals are the Braves' rivalry. And the Braves, they beat the Houston Astros in that World Series in 2021. So that just made me dislike the Braves even more. Let's check the standings here. New York Yankees, they have been winning quite a lot of games, as well as the Chicago Cubs. Aren't the Cubs on a big winning streak, 5-tear? Oh, wow, the Tampa Bay Rays are right behind the Yankees in that division. Wow. Welcome back to the Tropicana Field for the Rays, and they're cooking. The American League Central is not that great. But I have the Kansas City Royals winning that division. I mean, they're 17-21, but they still have a chance because they're 2.5 games behind the Cleveland Guardians. American League West is also not that great of a division as well. The Athletics are in first place. They're 19-18. National League East, the Atlanta Braves, 26-12. All the other teams have a losing record. The Mets are 14-23. Is that the worst record in the entire MLB? They're tied with the San Francisco Giants, but probably not much longer. Yeah, the National League Central is the best division. All the teams have winning records. The Cubs have won 9 in a row. Wow. The Rays have won 7 in a row. That's interesting, man, these streaks. Oh, the Reds, they lost 7 in a row, but they still have a winning record. They're 20-18. All right, time's up. Try to do better next time, as Tony Kornheiser would say on Pardon the Interruption, PTI. That's got to be the best 30 minutes sports talk show in history. Next, big weekend, WWE Backlash. I'm going to give you my predictions. Okay? So, Backlash. Backlash, it's always the event after WrestleMania. I'm going to give you my predictions. The last WWE event I watched was the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Okay, that wasn't too long ago, so I don't think I missed very much. Here are the matches. They're going to be in Tampa. Okay. And I think I saw something that they're going to show the first hour of Backlash on ESPN or ESPN2. Is that going to be a permanent thing now? Because I think they first did that for WrestleMania. I don't think they did that, in their previous events when they were on the ESPN app, such as WrestlePalooza, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber. I don't think the first hour of those events were shown on free ESPN television. I think it began with WrestleMania 42. Okay. So we got Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman. That'll be an interesting one. Remember Braun Breaker? He came back at WrestleMania and he sprinted down that long-ass WrestleMania ramp and he speared Seth Rollins. That was hot. I like that. Braun Breaker should win this match, but something tells me that Seth Rollins is going to win. Plus, Seth lost at WrestleMania. I don't think WWE wants Seth to lose again, so I'm going to pick Seth Rollins, but I kind of want Braun Breaker to win. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. I got to go with Trick Williams. He just won that title, didn't he? Yeah. That might be a pretty quick match. The fans, they would say what? Chant, whoop that trick whenever he comes out. Next one, Io Sky versus Asuka. That'll be interesting. Two Japanese great wrestlers. Weren't these two a tag team? Or no. Asuka was with Kairi Sane, I believe. What if Kairi Sane what if she makes her return? What if she makes a surprising return? It turns out she was trolling everyone that she's not leaving for real. I guess I'll go with, I don't know. This could be a coin flip. It's just a singles match, no title on the line. I'll go with, I guess, Asuka. I remember when Asuka was on that undefeated streak, but that was the old Asuka. I miss that Asuka. Before she, painted her face and did the green mist. I was not a fan of that version of Asuka. Next, Denhausen and TBA versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. Well, sorry, The Miz's team's not going to win. Danhausen, he's a very interesting wrestling character, that's for sure. I saw a video on my YouTube homepage. He did Sports Center's top 3 plays. He was in the studio. That was funny. And then up the main event, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. That'll be an interesting match. Jacob Fatu, I think he deserves a championship title run, but I don't see Roman losing already. Roman just won that title. There's no way he's going to lose that title already. That would be shocking if Roman Reigns loses that title already. So yeah, I would like to see Jacob Fatu win. I'm sure most of the fans will like to see Jacob Fatu win, but Roman's going to win. He's not going to have a short title run. I don't know. What if this title run will last for a couple of years, just like his previous one? I don't know. What if Oba Femi interferes? Ooh. So I'm going to go with Roman. Now, will I watch it? I don't think I will, because I'm planning to meet up with my friends tomorrow. But I'm going to try and record the first hour of Backlash on the ESPN television. I think they'll show what? Will they show 1 or 2 matches? I guess 2. I'm sure they'll show the Trick Williams and Sami Zayn match, as well as Danhausen and TBA versus The Miz and Kit Wilson match. I guess those are my predictions that they'll show on the free ESPN. Maybe not. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong, but clearly the main event is Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Okay, that's the end of the clock. Up next, Tyrone Magnus. That's right, I'm going to watch, I think, 1 or 2 of his videos. Yep, more Tyrone news of pro wrestling. Let's see here. So the 2 videos that I know I watched 2 videos in the last episode of KSN. The first one was, something about Kevin Nash. Yep. And more WWE releases. Okay, I think... Yep, we got 2 more videos to watch of Tyrone. The first one is called Roman Reigns Lied About Being Full-Time for the Summer. Let's check this out. I remember Tyrone Magnus. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. I watched him probably for almost 10 years. And recently, there was a time where he was watching the WWE for a while. Then he stopped because he got sick of the product. But this past year or 2, he got back into it. And he would do live reactions, live streams of him watching the show. So I put on his reaction while I was watching WrestleMania. So it was like I was watching it with him. And I also did the same for the Monday Night Raw and the Friday Night SmackDown after WrestleMania. Without Tyrone, I don't think I would watch those events. Probably not. Well, maybe just WrestleMania, but the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown after, I probably wouldn't watch those if it wasn't for Tyrone. But, yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's listen to what he has to say about this news.
So, according to bodyslam.net, Roman Reigns shan't be appearing at all in June on Raw. Monday Night Raw.
That's Vince McMahon.
What the hell is
impression.
going on here? People are saying he's a liar.
Uh-oh.
They're saying he lied. They're saying he's lying. He said after WrestleMania that he was getting rid of all that part-time crap and that we was going to see him a whole lot. And you know what? I was actually warming up to his character more. Over the past few, I don't know, weeks or so. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of my favorite to watch. But he was starting to warm up to me more. Kind of just how Punk warmed up to me more after that match. I was like, you know what? I'm more of a fan of CM Punk now. Something about that match gave me more respect for Punk. Okay? They both had the best match of the show, probably, that I can think of right now. They had the best match of the show.
Yeah, it was a great match.
They helped save it.
You know why? No interference. That's
people
why.
talking about the whole part-time thing. He addressed it and said he was
Part-time
going to see him a whole lot. See, he was going to see his booty a whole lot
His booty.
this summer. Really? Really? Really?
Yeah, that's what the Miz says.
Really?
Really?
Now, I don't know why. Is there something going on with business? Some people are speculating it's business.
Business?
Specifically contract stuff. I don't know. Some people are speculating that he don't want to travel because apparently those dates are overseas. I mean, they do enough traveling as it is. I don't, but I don't know him. So I don't know if that would be an issue. Was it just a lie? Was it just a promo? to help get him over and get things going for the summer? I don't know. I have no idea. Is it WWE themselves? It really wouldn't make sense for him not to be available for all of June. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't like that. He's the champ. And we're not going to see him all June at all?
He must be on
At all for June?
Probably go on vacation.
Has it gone that long before? See, look, I came from the 80s. In the 80s, and they started doing it again with Brock Lesnar at one point.
Golden
where they're
era.
saying, listen, Brock Lesnar's a special attraction. Like, they used Paul Heyman for it in a promo. I remember that. And so they didn't have Brock on TV all the time. You had him on every 2-3 weeks or so. You know what I mean? You might have saw him once a month, something like that. Once or twice a month, maybe. And it started to feel like the 80s. You never. And the mag means never, ever.
That's what The Rock
saw the
says.
champion on TV in the 80s. You never saw it. Never. You know when you would see it? You would see Hulk Hogan. Or specifically, Hulk Hogan. You would only see him on TV to cut promos. And it was a tape promo. He wasn't in the middle of the ring cutting the promo. It was a tape promo.
Yeah, backstage.
With the graphic behind him, Hulkamania.
Mean Gene over.
Well, you know something, Mean Gene.
Yep.
Or you know what I mean? Like, well, let me tell you something, brother.
Uh-huh.
That's what it was all about. You never got to see him wrestle on regular TV. Ha! That's pay-per-view. You gotta pay for that.
Back then, there was no Monday Night Raw. It was mainly just pay-per-views. Back then, that was the beginning of the WWF golden era starting to rise up. That's how Hulkamania was born. That's how WrestleMania was born. Then SummerSlam became an event. Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. They call that the Big Four. The Big Four pay-per-views. And they still have those to this day, you know? So, yeah.
So in the 90s, when they started, in the 90s and the 2000s, when they started putting the champ on TV all the time, we loved it as fans. Loved it. It's like, we ain't gotta wait for a pay-per-view to see the champ? Oh my God. So I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, and that's in the 90s, to me, I mean, I wasn't alive back then, but I think that was the beginning of television getting big, in a way, you know? Monday Night Raw was introduced in 1993, you know? Yeah, and the rest was history, man. The rest is history.
So wrestling fans, you tell me what you think it is. Because I don't know what it is. I don't know the reading. The reading, not the reason. I don't know the reading why. Okay? 10 million subscribers. Woo!
Okay, now there's one more. It's called... So, this is the reason for all the WWE releases.
Oh,
Let's find
boy.
out. Let's find out.
So this is why, huh? So what I'm hearing is that
Yahoo.
the reason for all the WWE releases is connected to TKO. And many of you, after I did a video talking about it, kept saying, it's not WWE, it's TKO. It's TKO, trust me, bro. Well. Look at this. So the latest WWE budget cuts could have major impact on superstar contracts and negotiations. WWE's recent round of budget cuts could significantly impact how talent approaches contract negotiations moving forward. Following WrestleMania 42, WWE released a number of superstars from both its main roster development system. Its main roster and development system. Among notable names affected were members of the Wyatt Six faction, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, and Kairi Sane. Shortly after, another major development emerged as the New Day's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods parted ways with the company, and reports indicate that the duo was asked to restructure their existing contracts for reduced pay, but declined ultimately, leading to a mutual decision to separate. I'm being told here, I've seen a few things in my timeline here, that people were asked to renegotiate and were given like a day or two to decide before they were released. And it's TKO doing budget cuts. And because of them being in so much debt, and one way was to renegotiate contracts. It's effed up. According to the new report from Fightful Select, there's widespread cuts and proposed pay reductions are already influencing how wrestlers and their representatives view negotiations with WWE and its parent company, TKO. The report suggests there is growing concern within the talent and agent community about the reliability of long-term high-value contracts. Several industry figures believe that even lucrative multi-year deals may no longer guarantee financial security throughout their duration. Quote, "We spoke to someone within the talent and agent worlds who said that this round of cuts and pay cuts will likely cause heavy changes in how talent negotiate contracts with TKO and WWE moving forward, knowing that there is very little confidence that the life-changing big money deals that a lot of wrestlers sign will see through the life of the deals." So they're going to run a renegotiate, even though they may technically have that right later on. So, somebody gets signed on for something big and they don't really use them, they're going to want to renegotiate. Additionally, the decision to request significant pay cuts from talent while TKO executives continue to report record earnings has drawn criticism from within the industry. Many see that contrast as a major point of frustration. Yeah, it's like, you making so much money, why are you cutting their pay? And I'm hearing that the executives are taking bonuses and getting pay raises and everything. Fightful further noted that the contract discussion in recent years have sometimes taken place under unusual circumstances. Some wrestlers were reportedly approached about new deals during international tours earlier than expected, while some viewed this as an attempt to expedite signings before full review by representatives. This remains speculative. More notably, on the day of the mass releases, several talents were reportedly asked to accept it. See, that's what I was just telling y'all. In order to remain with the company, with some given as little as 2 days. That's what I was telling you. I saw my timeline. Kingston and Woods are said to have quickly chosen to leave rather than accept those revised terms, despite potentially leaving millions of dollars on the table over the next 4 years. Yeah, that's... A similar situation was previously highlighted by Killer Cross, who claimed he was given one. He did! I saw that interview with him. Fightful Select reports also appears to support earlier claims made by Brian Alvarez. Also noted that some WWE talent had agreed to revise contract terms. It's just some of them probably just desperate to live, to pay their bills, and it's like damn. According to Fightful, while no specific names were disclosed, several wrestlers were approached about taking pay cuts to remain with the company, and some did accept those new terms. This aligns with Alvarez's report, suggesting that not all talent chose to leave, with a portion agreeing to adjusted deals. It's also noted that longtime veterans, including some currently sidelined with injuries, were among those approached. Another source of frustration stems from the fact that several affected talents, including Santos Escobar and members of the New Day, had only recently signed new deals. Some had not even explored opportunities with other promotions, such as AEW. Man. Cutting their pay. Damn. You don't know what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Man. That's sad. That's sad. I don't like that. I don't like that. I would like to know the specifics. Because if they're ever doing record numbers and all this, they should be able to pay them. And maybe even pay them more. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. 10 million subscribers. Whoa.
TKO, man. TK freaking O. Remember, I saw a comment that I mentioned. The three most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. TKO. Because, Randy Orton, his finisher is the RKO. That's what he used to say back in the day. The three most dangerous letters in sports entertainment is the RKO. But then this comment that I saw, it made me laugh. It made a lot of people laugh. The three most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. TKO. TKO really stands for technical knockout. It does, Your winner by TKO, It's all about the money, man. It's all about the damn money. It's a shame. I think most of us would say if we have to pick one wrestler to come back out of all the releases, I think it's an easy one. Kairi Sane. Yeah. Because that was the most shocking one. Kairi Sane. The New Day, that is a big one, but they used to have Big E. Big E used to be part of the New Day, but after Big E's career-ending neck injury, the New Day wasn't going to be the same. To me, Big E was the biggest star of the New Day, in my opinion. So, yeah. But I like Big E on the pre-show and the post-show. So, yeah. I wonder how Backlash will do. Oh, and the people that don't like about today's WWE is the damn commercials. It's driving them crazy, man. But hey, I'm not a big fan of the product, so when I was watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, I remember there were a lot of commercial breaks. But it didn't bother me because, during the breaks I was just, on my phone, just checking my stuff. And then, Tyrone Magnus, he was doing a live stream of him watching it. So, sometimes in the commercial breaks he would just talk to his viewers, So that made it more entertaining. Without Tyrone, I wouldn't be watching it. Maybe probably just WrestleMania, But they have talent. WWE has talent. They have a great roster, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird what they're doing with the roster in a way. It's still interesting, though. So we'll see how Backlash does. But, yeah. All right. Now to the birthdays. We have a lot of birthdays. I purposely decided to do a bunch of birthdays because I'm not going to be back until 8 days. All right. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait. I just said 6, 7, and I paused. Let me start out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 birthdays. That is a record. So here's how this is going to go. Since I'm not going to do another episode for 8 days, we have belated birthday from May the 6th. Okay? May the 6th, Wednesday, because I was going to try and do an episode for Thursday, but because I didn't, I'm still going to do the Thursday, May 6th birthdays, okay? Or no, excuse me, Wednesday. Wednesday, May 6th is birthdays. And then yesterday's birthday's May the 7th, okay? I actually could not find any of today's birthdays. Oh, no, wait. Actually, no, I take that back. Is it today or tomorrow? It is actually... I'm looking up one person's birthday. Okay, never mind. We do have today's birthdays. We actually don't have any of tomorrow's birthdays. I could not find any athletes that I was familiar with that were born on May the 9th. So then I chose the next day, May the 10th. So we got May 6th birthdays, May 7th's birthdays, May 8th's birthdays, today's birthdays, and then May 10th's birthdays. 19 birthday wishes. So, yeah, I told you this is going to be a big episode. So let's get right into it, all right? Because I don't really... Yeah, I know I'm going to stay up all night. Oh, well. Hey, it's a Friday, so... But hopefully this will be the last time. So, happy belated birthday from May the 6th. And the first one we got is Cameron Hayward. So Cameron Hayward, and you know, I go by the order, all right? Football player, born in Pittsburgh. NFL defensive end who recorded 7.5 sacks in his first 3 seasons. He was drafted 31st overall in 2011. Before fame, he was a top 15 national prospect at his position after recording 16 sacks as a senior at Peachtree Ridge High School. Trivia: he finished his career at Ohio State University with 31 tackles for a loss and 16 sacks. Family life: his father Craig earned the nickname Ironhead while playing running back in the NFL. Associated with: he blocked a Mike Nugent field goal on December 4, 2011. So yeah, Cameron Hayward, he's been with the Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers, ever since he got drafted. I think he'll still play with the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. He's now 37, so that is getting kind of up there, but he's still pretty good for his age. He's one of the original players. Next birthday is I can't pronounce this dude's name, but I'm familiar with this dude's name. Akbar. I can't even pronounce his last name, but he was born in Los Angeles, California. A former defensive end who played in the NFL from 2003 to 2007 for the Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers, and Miami Dolphins. He became a presenter on the popular show American Ninja Warrior. That's what he's well known for. Before fame, he played basketball and football at Crenshaw High School in California. Trivia: he played college football at San Diego State and was undrafted coming out of school. Family life: he married Crystal. His brother Kabir also played in the NFL. Associated with: producer Mark Burnett approached him in 2010 about appearing in a television show he was developing for ABC. So the reason why his name is unpronounceable is because he's a Nigerian player, or at least he's half Nigerian. But I remember watching some of American Ninja Warrior. I never became a big fan of that show, but I remember him as the host. But another thing I watched was Team Ninja Warrior. I got into that show more than the regular American Ninja Warrior. And I remember back in 2017 or 2018, after WWE SmackDown went off the air, which was back then on Tuesday nights on USA Network, they would have Team Ninja Warrior on the USA Network. And back then I have cable. I have Cox cable, and I would record a bunch of stuff. So that's how I was able to watch that show and other shows and skip through the commercials. And, now I can do that with YouTube TV. So, yeah, that's how Akbar is well known for. It's like, I think people forgot about his professional football career. Next player, well-known player, Jose Altuve. Oh yes, Jose Altuve. He is still playing for the Houston Astros from Venezuela. Too bad he could not play for Team Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic, especially after Team Venezuela won the World Baseball Classic. And I remember he was in the stands watching the game. The reason why he couldn't play was because for some reason he had insurance issues. That's kind of stupid. Same with Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa is Puerto Rican. Alright, so Jose Altuve, Venezuelan, or is it I say Venezuelan, but I think it's pronounced Venezuelan, second baseman who had a breakout 2014 season with the Houston Astros, leading the American League in stolen bases and becoming the first Astro ever to win a batting title by hitting .341. He won 2 more American League batting titles in 2016 and 17, as well as the AL MVP award in 2017. He helped the Astros win the World Series in 2017 and 22. Before fame, he was originally signed by the Astros as an undrafted free agent in 2007 and had a successful season in the Venezuelan Summer League. Trivia: upon making his MLB debut in 2011, he became the shortest player, 5'6", to play in the major league since 1981. Wow, I wonder who was the 5'6" player in 1981. Family life: he and his wife Nina had a daughter in 2016. His grandmother passed away during the 2013 season. Associated with, he broke Craig Biggio's Astros record for the most hits in a season with 225 in 2014. So yeah, Jose Altuve, what a player for someone who is pretty short, 5'6", but he's a fantastic hitter, especially when he plays at Daikin Park. He would hit home runs to the Crawford boxes at left field. They might as well be called the Altuve boxes, And yeah, I don't even know who the second shortest player is in the MLB, but he's amazing. He will go down in history. He is a future Hall of Famer. They're going to retire his number. He is that damn good. And he is like the last original player from the 2017 roster. Oh, until Carlos Correa came back. Yeah. But man, what's kind of funny is when Jose Altuve stands next to Aaron Judge at second base. Because Aaron Judge is like a foot taller, at least a foot taller than Jose Altuve. And Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Judge is one of the best hitters right now. Look at him. Oh my gosh. 2 great hitters. Imagine both of them in home run derby. That would be funny. That would be funny. So yeah, Jose Altuve, what a player he is. Yep, I used to go to Houston Astros games, and every time I went, he was at all the games that I went to because he's been a Houston Astro since 2011. Okay, next birthday. Chris Paul. So Chris Paul, star NBA point guard and 2006 Rookie of the Year, whose nickname is CP3. He led the NBA in assists in 2008 and 2009 while playing for the New Orleans Hornets. He played for the LA Clippers from 2011 to 2017 before a trade sent him to the Houston Rockets. In 2020, he joined the Phoenix Suns. In 2023, he was traded to the Golden State Warriors. Before fame, he won a number of national AAU basketball titles before attending Wake Forest University. After 2 years of college basketball, he was selected 4th overall by the Hornets in the 2005 NBA Draft. Trivia: he was traded to the LA Lakers in December of 2011, but David Stern vetoed the trade, thus shattering fans' hopes of seeing him team up with Kobe Bryant. Wow, okay. He was named the NBA All-Star MVP in 2013. Family life: he married Jada Crawley on September 10, 2011. He has a son named Christopher and a daughter named Cameron. He was teammates with the high-flying Blake Griffin of the LA Clippers from 2011 to 17. Now, didn't he just announce his retirement not too long ago? Oh, wow, he's only 6 feet, which is short for the NBA. Can you imagine him standing next to Victor Wembanyama? Yeah, he just announced his retirement. Wow, he had a pretty long career, too. Aw, 12-time NBA All-Star, but he never won the NBA championship, sadly. Yeah. So he just retired. I remember I got the news back then. Yeah, because he's 40. He just turned 40. All right, the last belated birthday for May 6 is Angel Reese. So Angel Reese is the most popular birthday from May 6. Collegiate shooting guard and small forward that initially began her college career at the University of Maryland. After 2 seasons at Maryland, she transferred to Louisiana State University. Her basketball fame has led her to amass over 5 million followers on her Instagram page. She helped lead LSU to a national title in 2023, and I remember watching that game live at the time. I think didn't they face Iowa? Caitlin Clark's team? I think it was, I want to say. And that was kind of the rivalry back then, Angel Reese against Caitlin Clark. She was drafted by the Chicago Sky in the 2024 WNBA draft. Yeah, 5-2. I don't know if you were watching that game back then, because that was kind of before you fully got into sports. I don't know if you're a fan of the WNBA, but if you are, is the Chicago Sky the closest team to where you live? I assume the answer is yes. Okay. Before fame, she was considered a 5-star prospect while at St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland. As a senior, she was the 2nd-ranked player in her class. Trivia: she began being recruited by Maryland as an 8th grader in middle school. Wow. After her commitment to Maryland, she became the highest-ranked commit in program history. She landed a sponsorship with Amazon while she was a college student. Family life: she grew up living with her family in Randallstown, Maryland. Her cousin is UConn's Jordan Hawkins. In June 2023, she confirmed she was in a relationship with Cameron Fletcher. They would later split in March 2024. She started dating NBA player Wendell Carter in November 2025. Associated with, she played college basketball at LSU, just like Ben Simmons and Shaquille O'Neal. She played against Iowa and Caitlin Clark in the 2023 National Championship game. Okay, I was right about that. Okay. So, yeah. The WNBA season's coming up. I might watch some games if I can. Depends on what else is going on. But yeah, that's their summer league. And yeah, she is younger than me. Just like Caitlin Clark. They were both born in 2002. Okay. Now we're going to go to May 7th's birthday. First one we got is Daria Kasatkina. Daria is a tennis player. So, born in Russia. All right. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Professional tennis player who was ranked the 43rd best female singles player in the world in 2016. That same year, she was also ranked the 24th best doubles player. Before fame, she first picked up a tennis racket at the age of 6 and began training formally by the age of 11. Trivia, she won a junior Grand Slam title at the French Open in 2014. Family life, she is the daughter of Tatiana and Sergey. Associated with, she was photographed with international DJ Kygo at the Ultra Music Festival in Japan. So, you know, back when I used to watch tennis quite a bit, I remember Daria Kasatkina. And I think it was about, 2 years ago, she changed her nationality to Australia. Yeah, it was last year in 2025. She represented Russia from 2011 to 25, and since 2025, she represents Australia. I'm not sure if it's because of the current Russia-Ukraine war, because athletes they can't show the Russian flag for athletes anymore. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Daria Kasatkina. In 2022, she was in the French Open semifinals. And speaking of the French Open, that is coming up in a couple of weeks. They begin on Sunday, May 24th, on Memorial Day weekend. And speaking of tennis, we're going to stay to tennis because the next birthday is also a tennis player. Her name is, I think this is how you pronounce it, Ayla Tomljanovic, but she's also she's Australian, but she was born in Croatia. Decorated tennis player who first gained fame competing for Croatia. Then in 2014, she announced plans to become an Australian citizen and began competing in Grand Slam events for the nation. Before fame, playing tennis from age of 7. Her professional career began in October of 2008 when she competing in her first ITF Circus tournament in Mexico City. Trivia, in 2009, she and American player Christina McHale won the Grand Slam girls doubles final at the Australian Open. Family life, she was born in Zagreb to Ratko and Amina. Her elder sister, Hannah, played tennis for the University of Virginia. She began dating fellow tennis star Nick Kyrgios in July 2015. Their relationship ended in 2017. Associated with, in the 2014 French Open, she competed against Angie. I think her, can't pronounce her name, but I remember that name. She's a Polish player. Her last name is Radwanska. But I'm surprised I didn't mention this about Tomljanovic. She is the one that retired Serena Williams. Serena Williams' last singles match, it was at the 2022 Australian Open, and I think it was in the third round where Serena lost to Tomljanovic. Yeah, in 2022. surprisingly. Famous birthdays did not mention that. Next birthday is Alex Smith. Alright, former football quarterback. NFL quarterback who helped lead the San Francisco 49ers to the NFC Championship game following the 2011 season. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs from 2013 to 17 before a trade sent him to the Washington Redskins, and that was when Patrick Mahomes arrived in the 2017 season. In trivia, in 2008, he suffered a devastating leg injury, fracturing his tibia and fibula and seemingly ending his NFL career. However, he made a remarkable recovery, returned to the league in 2020, and went on to win the league's Comeback Player of the Year award. Yeah, I remember that happening. He suffered the same injury as Joe Theismann did. Joe Theismann had the exact same injury as Alex Smith. And then he somehow came back. I thought that was the end of Alex Smith, but he came back in 2020, which was the COVID season. Family life, he has a son named Hudson with his wife Elizabeth Berry. Associated with, he took the San Francisco 49ers to within one game of making the Super Bowl, but they lost to Eli Manning in overtime of the 2012 NFC title game. And I believe Alex Smith is on ESPN on NFL Primetime with Chris Berman for the Super Bowl. Wasn't he on there? I think he was. But, yeah. But I remember him as a player. Alright. Last birthday of May the 7th is Kevin Owens. But I believe his real last name is, Kevin Steen. Okay. Oops. His last name is Kevin Steen, but he goes by Kevin Owens, because that's his ring name. Alright. There we go. So Kevin Owens. Oops. Excuse me. So Kevin Owens. Canadian wrestler. Yep. Signed to WWE. He became an NXT champion in his first reign. He has also performed in Ring of Honor and is a former Ring of Honor World Champion and a Tag Team Champion. Before fame, he first took up an interest in wrestling when he was 11 years old. He started training 3 years later and made his debut in 2000 when he was 16. Trivia, he has wrestled in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Guerrilla, and Combat Zone Wrestling as well. Family life, his real name is Kevin Steen. He married Karina, with whom he has 2 children, Owen and Elodie Layla. Associated with, he has taken on El Generico in the ring before. I'm surprised that's not really a lot of information for Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens became a big-time star in WWE. And, unfortunately, he's been inactive due to an injury. What kind of injury did he had? So he was supposed to wrestle against Randy Orton at last year's WrestleMania 41. Then it says, however, on the April 4th, 2025 episode of SmackDown, Owens announced that he had suffered a neck injury and would require surgery, putting him out of action indefinitely. He would be replaced by Joe Hendry, who answered Orton's open challenge of the night of WrestleMania 41. So, yeah, he's been out for over a year, man. Neck injuries are tough. They are tough to recover from. I mean, Big E was unable to recover. They said that he can't wrestle anymore. Hopefully that's not going to be the same for Kevin Owens. And I remember when Kevin Owens When I first started watching the WWE, Kevin Owens was already a big-time star. He was SmackDown's United States champion, you know. He had a feud against AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2017. And then later that year, he wrestled against Shane McMahon inside Hell in a Cell. I saw that live. That was crazy. I think that's on YouTube. That's a match I recommend y'all watching. It's pretty long, though. It's about like a 45-minute match. But a lot has happened. That was a funny rivalry. And I like Kevin Owens' theme song. That's a theme that he should never get rid of. That's a theme that he should never change. So I'm hoping he's doing well. And I actually saw him, almost all the times I went to see WWE events, he was there. Yeah, I got to see him like 3 times, so that was awesome. Speaking of wrestling, yesterday would have been Owen Hart's birthday. Now, Owen Hart had this tragedy where he died. Today he would have been 61 years old. He died on May 23rd, 1999, when he was only 34 years old. So I'm going to read about him on famous birthdays. Born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Canadian professional wrestler known as the Blue Blazer and the Golden Nugget, who died after falling from the rafters during his entrance due to equipment malfunction. He was a 2-time WWF Intercontinental Champion and a 4-time WWF World Tag Team Champion. Before fame, he was born into a family of wrestlers as the youngest of 12 children. That's crazy. What a family. That is a wrestling family. His parents, Stu and Helen Hart, were wrestling promoters. Trivia, he was the 1994 WWF King of the Ring. Family life, he was married to his wife Martha until his death. And together they had 2 children. His brother Bret Hart suspected his accident to be rigged. Oh, when Owen Hart died? Is that what they meant? Associated with, he once fought Dwayne Johnson and won in 1996. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson became as The Rock. So yeah, Bret Hart is Owen Hart's older brother. And they used to be, together. They were known as the Hart Foundation. And then after the Montreal screw job in 1997, which was a real-life situation, Bret Hart left the World Wrestling Federation to join Ted Turner's, rest in peace to Ted Turner, WCW World Championship Wrestling. But Owen Hart stayed with Vince McMahon and the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. This was during the Monday Night Wars era. That era that I'm watching. And, yeah. I was reading about this incident and even watched a show about it where Owen Hart died. It was during a pay-per-view called Over the Edge of 1999. And, Jim Ross was the announcer. Good old JR. He had to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is not part of our show, our entertainment. You hate to hear that. You hate to hear that. Yeah, it's just sad, man. Otherwise, if that malfunction never happened, he probably still would be alive. Yeah. And people were upset at Vince McMahon because the show did not continue. Or no, excuse me. They were upset because Vince wanted the show to continue instead of, canceling it. Oh, another thing is the fans in the arena, they didn't know that Owen Hart died. It was only the TV fans, the TV audience, because Jim Ross, he was told in his headset to give the shocking announcement that Owen Hart passed away. And they told Jim Ross, you only have 10 seconds to say that announcement. I'm just, jeez, man, that's just crazy, crazy time. So, just want to take this moment for, Owen Hart. Today or yesterday was his birthday. Now today's birthdays. First one we got is Adrian Gonzalez. All right, so former baseball player. Born in San Diego, MLB first baseman who was named to 4 consecutive All-Star teams from 2008 to 2011, playing for the San Diego Padres and Boston Red Sox. He was traded for the LA Dodgers in 2012. Before fame, he was selected first overall by the Florida Marlins in the 2000 MLB Draft. Trivia. He became known for fielding prowess and won 3 Gold Glove Awards from 2008 to 11. Family life, he married longtime partner Bestie in 2003 and later welcomed 2 daughters. Associated with, he played with David Ortiz on the Boston Red Sox for a season and a half. So I remember watching back then the LA Dodgers games. Adrian Gonzalez was playing. And back then, I did watch quite a bit of LA Dodgers game, mainly because of Vin Scully, the greatest baseball announcer of all time. So, yeah, and I remember Adrian Gonzalez playing. And he actually had a nickname named Gonzo, because, Gonzalez, Gonzo, that was his nickname, so that was kind of funny. I think he's a Mexican player. So, yeah. All right, next birthday. Michael Penix Jr. That's right. Michael Penix Jr. Born in Tampa. Southpaw quarterback that originally began his college football career at Indiana University as a freshman in 2018. After 3 seasons with Indiana, he then transferred to the University of Washington as a senior in 2022. During his time at Washington, he earned all Pac-12 honors and MVP of the 2022 Alamo Bowl. Before fame, he is a graduate of Tampa Bay Technical High School. While in high school, he played football and baseball and ran track. Wow, I didn't know that. Trivia, in 2022, he threw for over 4,641 passing yards, which is a Washington single-season record. His 357 passing yards per game led all quarterbacks in the NCAA. Family life, he grew up living with his parents in the Tampa, Florida area. He is the son of Takesha and Michael Penix. Okay, his father is Michael Penix Sr. In November 2023, he began dating Olivia Carter. In December 2024, he got engaged. Associated with, he played against former NCAA Heisman winner Caleb Williams during the 2022 NCAA season. So I do remember Michael Penix Jr. playing college football. When he played for Washington, they went to the national championship game, but they lost to the Michigan Wolverines. 5 Tara, I think I remember you saying that that was your first time watching the college football national championship game. And then somehow during the 2024 draft, he got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. And that was a surprise because the Falcons, they already had a quarterback named Kirk Cousins. Now, I believe Kirk Cousins is no longer with the Falcons. Let me look that up. No, Kirk Cousins is with the Vegas Raiders, which means Fernando Mendoza will be the backup of Kirk Cousins. And Tua Tagovailoa is now the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, so Tua no longer the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Will he be the starter? Will he be the starting quarterback? Will Tua Tagovailoa be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, or will it be Michael Penix Jr.? I don't know. I mean, Tua has more experience, but Tua hasn't been playing well. I think Michael Penix had a better season last year than Tua Tagovailoa. And the last birthday for today, pro wrestler again, Masami Odedi, but also known as Io Sky. So Io Sky, who will be facing Asuka at WWE's Backlash tomorrow night. Japanese professional wrestler Masami Odedi, known by her ring name Io Shirai, before she changed to the Io Sky. She is signed to the WWE. High-flying assaults in the ring are her signature moves as a wrestler. She stands at 5 feet 1 inches. Yeah, she's very short. Before fame, she began her wrestling career in 2007, wrestling for various promotions across Japan and Mexico. Trivia: she is well known for her time in the wrestling for World Wonder Ring stardom in her pre-WWE days. In 2020, she won the NXT Women's title by defeating Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match. Wow. That's weird how Charlotte Flair was part of that. Somehow Charlotte, it was during the COVID years, so I guess they wanted to shake things up. Family life: her sister Mio is a professional wrestler with whom she used to be tag team partners. Associated with, she defeated Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm to retain her NXT Women's Championship. So Io Sky, great wrestler. Wasn't it at Survivor Series she jumped off the top of the cage with the trash can in her head? That was kind of crazy. So I'm looking forward to her match against Asuka, even though I'm probably not going to watch it. But luckily, WWE's YouTube channel, they'll post highlights. And you know what the crazy thing about the highlights is that they show the results. They do. They show the end. They used to not do that. Back when it was called pay-per-views, WWE's YouTube channel, they used to not show who won. They just show like one highlight and that was it. It's crazy. Okay, so those were today's birthdays. No May 9th's birthdays. I could not find any athletes that I was familiar with for May the 9th. So now we're going to go to May 10th, which is Sunday, Mother's Day. Okay? So first we got some announcers. Because, you know, most of these birthdays, they're usually athletes, but sometimes it'll be an announcer. So I'm going to talk about these two announcers first. Let's see here. Excuse me. All right. Oh, what the heck? Okay. So, happy early birthday, May the 10th. And those people are Tom Hammond and Chris Berman. Okay? We're going to start off with Tom Hammond. I'm not sure if he has a famous birthday. No, he does not. I guess Tom Hammond's not a well-known announcer. But Tom Hammond, I can tell you who he is. He used to be on NBC. Okay, he used to be on NBC. He's well known for covering Notre Dame football at the time and horse racing. He was the host, you know, at the desk with Randy Moss and Jerry Bailey before he got replaced by Mike Tirico. And I remember Tom Hammond at the time because I used to watch, started watching sports in 2013, and then, I started watching the Triple Crown races every year, so I do remember his voice at the time. And I miss him. I do miss him because he has a great voice. Great voice. And he also did the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, track and field, and speed skating at the Winter Olympics. But now he's retired, so yeah. He was also the play-by-play announcer for the NBA on NBC from 1990 through 2002. So yeah, he was mainly an NBC announcer. But I think horse racing, yeah. Wow, he was the thoroughbred racing on NBC host from 1984 to 2016. That's a long, long time. Yeah. So. And he was from Kentucky. Lexington, Kentucky. And Chris Berman. So Chris Berman, well known on ESPN. He was one of the originals to join NBC or ESPN. Chris Berman does have a celebrity or famous birthdays. Born in Greenwich, Connecticut. Famous sportscaster who joined ESPN during its inception, which I believe was in the late 70s. Became a specialist in all major sports, but best known for his football coverage, yes. NFL prime time, that's what it is. Before fame, he studied history at Brown University. Okay. Trivia, he immortalized the call. He could go all the way. That's what he would say during his NFL primetime highlights, and many other signature sayings that became standard jargon across the NFL. Family life, he had a son and daughter with his wife Kathy. Associated with one of his better known calls regarded former NFL quarterback Jake Delhomme, who he would refer to as daylight come and you gotta Delhomme. Wow. So yeah, Chris Berman, well known on ESPN and I guess ABC as well for a long time. Mainly for the NFL primetime show. He was also the host of Monday Night Countdown. Okay. And yeah, he's got that voice. They call him Boomer. That is Chris Berman's nickname, Boomer, because he has that booming voice, And there's another Boomer called Boomer Esiason. So, yeah, Chris, Boomer, he doesn't really appear as much. The only time you really see him is during the Monday night halftime show, where he would do the fastest 3 minutes highlights, and then NFL primetime for the Super Bowl. And next year's Super Bowl will be on ABC, so that's great, you know. But I miss him being the host of the NFL Draft and the Home Run Derby. So every year, I watched 2 old NFL drafts, but that was from NFL Network. In the old days, ESPN would only host the NFL Draft. There was no NFL Network in the old days, so back then he would be the host. He was the host of the NFL Draft on ESPN for many, many years, as well as the Home Run Derby. So yeah, I would like recent years I would watch an old Home Run Derby, mainly because I like Chris Berman and the old format. So I guess I'll do a reaction, a video, or maybe a live stream, I don't know. Or nah, I think it's going to have to be a video of me watching an old Home Run Derby. And, I believe it was 2016, his final year of being the host of both the NFL Draft and Home Run Derby. So in 2017, I realized, hey, Chris Berman's not the host anymore. So that was disappointing, because I didn't know he was stepping down. So, yeah. But he is well known. He's got that voice, man. It's great. He could go all the way. And he would say, whoop! Or tick, 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 or the Raiders. I can't do his voice. I'm too tired to do his voice. But yeah, Chris Berman, he has never left the network. Never. He is one of the best ever on ESPN. Okay, so next birthday to the athletes. Helio Castroneves, race car driver, Brazilian race car driver, who began competing in the IndyCar series in 2001. Before fame, he raced in the Formula 3 Sudamericana from 1993 to 94. Trivia, he was given the nickname Spider-Man because of the way he celebrates victories by climbing fences. That's kind of funny. Family life, he was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Associated with, like Johnny Rutherford, he became one of the few drivers to win the Indianapolis 500 3 times. So yeah, I remember Helio racing in the Indy 500. He's 51, so I assume he's not in it anymore. Let me look him up. The Indy 500 is coming up. That's on Sunday, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend, the biggest race car day of the year. Oh, he's still competing. That's crazy. He's still competing. That's awesome. I think he'll be in the Indy 500 again. He's well known. He's won it 3 times, it says. So, you know what? That's coming up. I might watch. Maybe I'll watch an old Indy 500. Should I do that? Because that's been around forever. The Indy 500's been around for I think this year will be their 110th. It's just as old as the Grey Cup of the CFL. Wow. Big part of the history. So that's coming up. Indy 500 is always exciting. So, yeah. Helio Castroneves is a very likable guy who is still competing. How awesome is that? And the cool thing about the Indy 500 is they have one of the coolest trophies ever. They put your face on the trophy somehow, and then the winner gets milk. they pour milk on their face. It's a tradition. And another tradition is they have the brick. His family, and his teammates, his entire crew. They'll all go down on their knees and they'll kiss the brick right at the finish line. So, yeah. So yeah, Indy 500 is coming up. Memorial Day weekend is going to be one of the biggest sports weekends of the year. So yeah, got that to look forward to. Next birthday, a wrestler named Marced Solis, also known as Tito Santana. Tito Santana. I believe he's a Mexican wrestler. Born in Mission, Texas. That is near the Mexican border. WWE star from the 1970s to the 1990s, who was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004. Before fame, he worked with Championship Wrestling and American Wrestling Association before joining the WWE, or well, it was WWF at the time, in 1979. Trivia: he was a two-time intercontinental champion, two-time tag team champion, and one-time King of the Ring in his WWE career. Family life: he and his wife Leah raised 3 sons, Matthew, Michael, and Mark. Associated with, he and Ivan Putski were named the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Tag Team of the Year in 1979. 1979 is a Smashing Pumpkins song. So, wasn't Tito Santana in the very first WrestleMania match? Because I remember I watched that WrestleMania event in full, and I remember, Howard Finkel was announcing, the ring announcer, Howard Finkel, introduced Tito Santana. Let me look this up real quick. And the answer is yes. Tito Santana. He defeated the Executioner by submission. He was in the very first WrestleMania match. Wow, Tito. I hope Tito remembers that. That he was a part of the very first WrestleMania match. Alright, we're almost done here. 2 more to go. Next birthday is Salvador Perez, the current catcher, longtime catcher, I should say, for the Kansas City Royals. And he's Venezuelan. He won the World Baseball Classic, right? So, catcher who was named World Series MVP after leading the Kansas City Royals to victory over the New York Mets in 5 games in 2015. He won his first Gold Glove award and earned his first All-Star Game nod in 2013. He also helped the Royals win the AL pennant in 2014. He was born in Valencia, Venezuela, and made his debut with the Royals in 2011. He represented his native Venezuela at the 2013 World Baseball Classic. Hey, don't forget 2026. He was probably also in 2023 or 2017. So that's the thing. Famous birthdays, they don't really update their articles, so yeah. But I mean, it's short and sweet though, because if I spend time on their Wikipedia page, this will be like a 4-hour episode. Family life: his mother is Yilda Diaz, whom he has a close relationship with. He has sons named Salvador Jr. and Johan. Associated with, he and fellow All-Star Lorenzo Cain became teammates in Kansas City. So, yeah, I do remember Salvador Perez in that 2015 World Series. The Kansas City Royals were a fun team to watch back then. And I mentioned that is my surprising pick to win the American League Central, even though that division is not that great, but still got, a long ways to go of the season. A lot can change, so they're not like the Mets where they're 10 games behind. They're only 3 games behind their division, the winning team, which is the Cleveland Guardians, I believe. But yeah, Salvador Perez won a World Series and the World Baseball Classic. Not many people can say that, where they won a World Series ring and the World Baseball Classic championship. The last birthday, also a wrestler. Darren Kenneth Matthews, also known as William Regal. So William Regal, English wrestler. He is a former British wrestler who was named 2008 King of the Ring. He became a WWE commentator after his wrestling career. Before fame, he started wrestling when he was 15 years old. Trivia, he released a book called Walkin' a Golden Mile in 2005. Family life, he fathered 3 sons with Christina Beddoes, whom he married in 1986. His son Bailey also became a wrestler under the name Charlie Dempsey. Associated with, he defeated Diamond Dallas Page in the 2002 European Championship match on SmackDown. Okay. So yeah, William Regal, I believe is he currently in AEW? Let me look him up. Because I remember he was the NXT general manager. No, he is currently signed to WWE, where he serves as the Vice President of Global Talent Development. Okay. Let me look at his pro wrestling career timeline. Okay, he was with World Championship Wrestling from 1992 to 1998. Then he joined the World Wrestling Federation in 1998 to 1999. Then he went back to WCW from 1999 to 2000, and then came back to the WWF in 2000. Wow, he was back and forth during the Monday Night Wars era. And then after his wrestling career ended, he retired on Christmas Day of 2013. He worked for NXT from 2014 to 2022. Then he joined AEW in 2022. I'm not sure what he was doing there. He was only there for 1 year though. I guess he was like a manager or something. I'm just skimming through this while I talk. But let's see. According to Tony Khan, Regal had requested not to renew his contract so he could return to WWE and work alongside his son, who had made his wrestling debut for AEW while Regal was with AEW. Or excuse me, he made his wrestling debut in WWE while William Regal, his father, was in AEW. I see. Okay, on December 30th of 2022, Regal confirmed his departure from AEW on Twitter and spoke highly of his time there. Okay. So yeah, I am, like I said, I'm watching that old era, and I think I remember when William Regal made his debut in the WWF, I want to say, but I remember watching him in WCW in 1997 and 98, and then it's funny how he went back and forth, But what made me laugh is that there was a time where I was watching 2008, because 2008 was WWE's first year in HD, and there was a wrestler named Umaga, okay? But William Regal, he would say, I'm going to try and do an impression of him. He would say this, and it made me laugh. I forgot who he said this to. I think he said this to JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. He said, "Tonight, you're going to face Umanga." Sounds like he said Umanga, So, yeah. Okay. Wow. I'm not sure how long that those birthdays took. Hey, under 3 hours. I guess that's a win-win, even though that's a long episode, a very long one. Running out of storage, but that's okay. It's time for me to wrap this up. So if you listened to this entire episode, I don't think any of y'all did, unless you did, 5Tayer. Let me know. Oh, wait. I got to read your comment, 5Tayer. I almost forgot. I have to read your comment. Yeah. Because you comment in the last episode of KSN. Alright. So. This is what you said. Let me go to the episode. First of all, 5Tayer, I want to thank you so much for your comments, because it makes it more fun. Oh yeah, the last episode of KSN got partially blocked because I played the New York Yankees victory song. Yeah, I think it's called Here Comes the Yankees. Yeah, the instrumental. But that's because they would play that at the end of their Yankees radio broadcasts. Okay? So, 5Tayer, this is what you said in the last episode of KSN. You said, I tuned into the end of the Yankee game yesterday through big inning. It's funny whenever I say big inning. When you say it fast, it sounds like you're saying beginning. Yeah, because if you combine the word big and inning together, all you have to do is change the I to a E in the word big, and then that's how you spell beginning. It just sounds alike. So, through big inning, to hear if Michael K was going to do his own Sterling shake. As you know, he did not, but Yes, the Yes Network, played a clip of John doing it, which was nice. Yep, I remember, because I watched that game. All New York sports teams won. Oh, all New York sports teams which played the other day, they won. Wow, that's awesome. That was cool too. The city of New York wins. A couple of other MLB radio announcers are retiring after this season. I'll have to tell you who they are soon. Okay. You'll have to tell me. I know that because you introduced me, the Chicago Cubs radio announcer. I forgot his name, but he's kind of an old guy. The Seattle Mariners radio announcer, he's also an old guy, so they're pretty good. I've heard them called games before. But yeah, I still have SiriusXM, mainly for listening to podcasts, because there's a lot of great podcasts out there and shows to listen to. But you can listen to pretty much any big sporting event. I mean, they'll have the Indianapolis, I could just say Indy 500, that you can listen to on SiriusXM. So yeah. But I don't know if you noticed, 5Tayer, Michael K did his John Sterling home run call when Aaron Judge hit that home run in the first inning on that Monday night game. It is high, it is far, it is gone. And also, if you remember, in the Classic Super Sluggers tournament, I believe it was on this channel, it was at Yoshi Park, I said that. I did a home run call where I said, it is high, it is far, it is gone. So, yeah. Yep. John Sterling and Ted Turner. Rest in peace. And Baton Rouge Zydeco. That's a lot of sad news in a span of, 3 days, you know? Yeah. All right, so that's it. I'm like I said a while ago, I'm not going to upload anything for a week after this. Okay? Yeah. Because my upload speed is so low, maybe my upload speed will go higher. I don't know, maybe not. This episode, the video file is going to be so big, it's going to take so long to upload, but oh well. Have a great weekend. See you next Saturday. And, yeah, if I pair, you and I can maybe do a call next weekend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy another big sports weekend. See you in 8 days, May 16th. Special Saturday edition of KSN. Have a good one, folks. This has been KSN.